Welcome back. Are you just a little bit behind schedule and still haven't filed your tax return or filed for an extension? There are several consequences that you could face for not filing, including penalties and the loss of what could have been a refund. Not to worry, we have some help for you. CPA Bob Martin is here with tips on how to minimize the problem and also come clean with the IRS. Probably a lot of people intimidated to do that, Bob.
Yeah, it is. It is a crime not to file your tax return. But usually the worst consequence is that the IRS might file what they call a substitute tax return for you, which is going to include all the income, but it'll miss your deductions. And so if you did miss the April 15th deadline, you didn't file an extension, you need to get your information together and get a return filed before the IRS files one for you.
Why don't you want the government to file an IRS claim or tax form for you?
Well, the deck is stacked against you. They're going to assume the worst case scenario.
Yeah.
And, you know, there are a lot of credits and deductions in the law that you can take, so you want to take advantage of those. The other thing is that if you wait too long, you wait over 3 years, and you had a potential refund coming, you will lose it by statute.
Yeah, that's free money that you should claim. All right. What if you had missing or incomplete information and preventing you from filing a prior tax return? This is a tricky one for a lot of people.
It is, but I'll tell you, in this electronic age, you can get a lot of information now from the IRS. For example, you lost a W-2, you lost a 1099. You can actually get that information from the IRS. And they've made the process easier. If you work with a tax professional and they have your power of attorney, they can actually get online in some cases and get that information right away.
And really, it's a good idea to seek out that advice because those folks know what to look for.
Exactly.
And let's talk a little bit about what the consequences could be. You could actually go to jail if you don't pay your taxes.
Well, yeah, I mean, not filing a tax return is a crime. But the one thing is, once you file a tax return, it's not a crime not necessarily being able to pay your taxes. A lot of people get behind, they get in horrible situations, and it is possible in some cases to work out a compromise with the IRS.
What would you say is the most important thing for someone who has delinquent taxes?
Time. To get it taken care of before the IRS comes in, because they have some very powerful tools. You hear the term levy. What that means is they can actually garnish your wages, they can take your car, your house, they can put liens against your real estate, and even if they owe you money, you have to prove that. And in the interim, they could actually take your assets until you get it straightened out.
And this can be just a humiliating process for people, you know, who are targeted by the IRS. It really destroys their lives.
Oh, yeah, and it affects things like their credit score, for example. It could hold up if you're trying to buy a house, you're trying to buy an automobile, it could hold up that process.
So regardless of whether you haven't filed in, let's say, several years or you just missed this deadline, it doesn't matter. Just come clean, go forward. You're better off doing that. They will find you eventually. You're not hiding.
Right. They will find you, and I can't begin to tell you, once people get this behind them, the feeling of elation they have, how happy they are, and it's usually not as bad as they think it is.
Right. So they pay that off, they don't have any penalties, and they're done.
Yes.
Clean slate, so to speak.
Yes.
All right, Bob, thank you.